Hello everybody, hope you guys are all having a great day before Thanksgiving. My YouTube viewers are going to see, there we go, that's better. Get it all situated into my real kitchen, real home, real life, real cooking. Welcome. If you're new to Sarah's Kitchen, this is what I do every once in a while. Hi everyone. I'm doing 2 lives simultaneously, Instagram, hi sweethearts, and I'm doing YouTube live. So you guys can always go to YouTube in Sarah's Kitchen and find the recipe. How's everybody? Hope everyone's doing well. It's a little crazy Thanksgiving time. Everyone's running around. I'm in charge of making turkey and the pie this year. We're going to 2 different parties. We actually have 4 parties to go to, but 2 of them I'm going to be taking things. And I'm sipping my celery juice. What a movement. I'm getting so many calls regarding that. Try the celery juice. It's a craze. It's taken over the world, and I'm actually enjoying it. I do want to tell you guys that I stopped using the MCT oil. A dear follower of mine let me know that she went in for her checkup and her cholesterol was high. And right before she told me that, I was noticing something was weird. Something was just not working. I would go dizzy. I'd lose my balance. I felt like every once in a while I was tired. I was heavy inside. I don't know how to explain it. And so when she told me that her cholesterol was high from the MCT oil and that her doctor told her, sorry, the dogs are moving, to stay off the MCT oil, I just went, oh my God, it must be happening with me too. That's what's happened. So I stopped the MCT oil about 2 weeks ago. I'm fine. And it's been 6 days now. I'm doing the celery juice in the morning, and boy, it is really, really happy Thanksgiving to all of you. It's really changed everything for me. So if you're not allergic to celery, you know, obviously if you're allergic to celery, you can't be on it. But if you're not allergic, read up on it. I follow Medical Medium, and he's written books, and there's everything on his Instagram. You guys can follow and read up on that. So now I'm gonna show you guys the most important thing. Bien, cierro, thank you, Ara. For your pie, okay? Here's how you need to measure your flour. It's really important in baking, and nobody really tells you why, but I'm gonna give you guys a little tutorial. So whenever I bake, I go in there and I kind of take my measuring cup, whatever it's asking for. For the pie crust, we're gonna use 2 cups. But here's what I do. I know that I have to air it out because this is sitting and the flour sits and gets heavy in the bottom. It just gets heavy. So you have to air it out and measure. You can do that, or what you can do is use 2 different cups. Measuring cup if you have, or you can use this, one of these, and you take your measuring cup and you hold it at an angle and you pour it in like so, so it's airy. You see that? And you go over, and then you just scrape it down. This way, this is not compacted tight. 2 cups. Air it out. Then use this and pour it in here. This is really helpful to understand why you don't, you know, some recipes call for compact brown sugar. You don't want your flour to be compacted. And the other way to really check on that is if you have one of those scales, make one compact and see how heavy it is, and air one out and see how lighter that one is. That's the best way to measure your flour when you're baking, especially for things that matter like pie crust, your cakes, your cookies, they'll get heavy. All right, 2 cups. This is gonna make you 2 discs, okay? So I have 2 cups of flour, about a tablespoon of sugar, pinch of salt, a good pinch of salt goes in there, butter and ice water. I have 2 sticks of butter are gonna go in this. It needs 2 sticks of butter. If you're measuring 3 cups of flour, you want more dough, then put 3 sticks of butter. Yes, you need butter for your pie crust to be flaky. So I'm gonna put 1 stick in there, and then I'm gonna use one of these butter cutters. That's what they're called. I'm just gonna go in there and just cut the butter into the flour. Now let me tell you, you can use your fingers. Last night I made one, some of you saw my story, and that was a pain because your body is warm, and as you're cutting it, you're melting the butter. You don't want that. That's just gonna ruin your pie crust. You're gonna cut it in like so. And then once you're done with one, you're gonna use another one. You don't wanna put them in there at the same time. You're gonna overcrowd and you're gonna have a mess on your hand. This is when you're gonna have pea size and bigger sizes. Perfect. Don't play with it with your hand because your body temperature is gonna melt the butter. You don't want that. Then you're gonna put the second stick in. Okay, cold butter, nice and hard. Not frozen because you won't be able to work it. Make sure the paper gets out of there. This one you're gonna cut in the same way. Okay, we're gonna cut this in. This is going to be what's gonna make your pie crust so flaky. Now, I'm all for it. Last year, I think I made a couple of pies, and for 2 of them, for one of them, I made 2 pies. For one of them, I used store-bought. I understand sometimes you don't have time, you have to. But seriously, you will enjoy and you'll tend to eat healthier when you start doing this from scratch. When you're buying those pie crusts, read the labels as I'm teaching my kids. There's so much in there. I don't even know what it is. It's just there for it not to rot in the packing. You don't need to feed your family all of that nonsense. And yes, we all have days that we have to, that's fine, but this is not really that difficult. All you need is some time and patience, and it'll come out beautiful. Notice I'm not using my fingers. You could, but you're gonna melt the butter. And that defeats the whole purpose of having bits of butter in there. All right, now this time around, I have bigger chunks of butter. I don't wanna make them all pea size. The second time, you want the bigger chunks in there because I'm going to show you those bigger chunks and the little ones are gonna add the air pockets. They're gonna make your pie flaky. That's what's gonna make the pie crust flaky. That's it. That's all that I'm going to do with this. Now, I'm going to add water. Ice water, and I'm gonna teach you guys a secret. A secret. It's not a secret, it's a method. I'm gonna show you guys what I'm gonna do. Let's move the butter. I have parchment paper. I did this last night on my story. Some of you saw. And so many of you were curious what was happening. I'm gonna take my parchment paper, not a cutting board, and I'm gonna dump this right in the middle. okay, like this, like a log. This was 2 cups of flour, okay, 2 sticks of butter, which you add 1 at a time, 2 cups of flour, tablespoon and a half of sugar, a good pinch of salt, so about a teaspoon of salt. I did 2 pinches. Here are the butter pieces. Some are big like this, some are smaller, and boy, some are bigger. That's just the way I want it. I'll show you guys what I mean. I'm gonna take some water, and you can use a spoon. My spoon has sugar in it. You're gonna use a spoon. This is ice cold water, and you're just gonna drizzle over just a little bit. I can't tell you to put half a cup or a quarter cup because I don't know the temperature in your home. I don't know how your dough is going to react. And I'm gonna fold it. The parchment paper is in between my hand and this. This is fabulous way to do your dough. I'm just gonna fold the parchment paper like that. Instead of doing it with my hand, I'm folding the parchment paper and I'm pressing the dough into each other, like that. Twirl it around and do the same thing. Parchment paper over your flour and butter and use your hand to press it down. That's how your dough is going to come together. You're gonna get pieces of butter that are gonna stick. We're gonna scrape it off. And now I see the crumbs on the corners and on top. And I'm just gonna add literally maybe half a teaspoon of water. This is how you add water. You don't pour water all over. You can also use your fingers and splatter it. That can happen too. You could do that. Do it that way. Tongue-tied. There it is. And just peel it back off. The butter that sticks, you scrape down with your little dough scraper or a knife. You don't have a dough scraper, you don't need to run and buy one. Use a knife or a spoon. I, of course, have everything in my kitchen, yet I still can go find more stuff that I can play with. Here we go. It's so funny, this dough scraper, my kids found it and they're like, Mom, what kind of knife is this? It doesn't cut anything. So I'm making pecan pie tomorrow. I'm gonna start it tonight. It is going to take a little time with you, but be patient. The other way you can do it is get your hand in there and splatter all over. This cup is kind of tight on that. This is probably gonna be my last water. I think I put in about a tablespoon, maybe a little bit more. Roll it in, there it is. Roll it in, there it is. I'm still in that log, you see that? That's how you're gonna get this rolled out every corner. Don't get your hand in there. The heat from your body will melt the butter. This is a good barrier, the paper. You'd be surprised. Just maneuver it in and press it down. And also what you're doing is kind of like making croissant dough for croissant, is you fold over. You're adding layers to your dough. That's gonna make your dough so flaky and beautiful also. I scrape the butter from the bottom. And here we go. I'm having a nice quiet Wednesday before the storm hits. Let's see, does it need a little bit more water? Maybe just a couple of drops more up top there. Just some drops there, few drops here. That's it. There it is. You can also do this with plastic. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. I will talk to you guys after we're done with the dough because we're doing Instagram and YouTube live right now. We're making pie dough for Thanksgiving, Christmas, or any season, any holiday, any reason you want to make it. Pie dough from scratch. And these are my little techniques that I'm teaching you guys. And that's it. That's how you want it. Now I'm gonna cut it in half and wrap it in plastic. There's the half. There you go. Scooch it aside. And then we're gonna use our press and seal. Hope you're all having a great holiday season. Here's my press and seal. And I'm gonna take, again, not with my hand. You can touch it with your hand if you want, but that's gonna speed up the butter from melting. Okay, I'm kind of making it in a little round disc. I'm gonna scrape it off. And there's my first round disc of pie dough. This is gonna get refrigerated overnight or at least a half an hour before you can roll it. You want this butter to set and get nice and firm in there. That way you can roll it out. And also the flour will continue absorbing the water that you added to it. Here it is, make it nice and tight so it doesn't fall apart. And wrap it. I'm putting the crumbs on top. This is our flaky, and it's gonna be like this because you want it to be flaky and tender. Here we go. That's done. First set. And then what I do is I roll it into this disc, right? And I put it in a Ziploc bag and refrigerate it. Perfect. I know how to open a Ziploc bag. Okay, and another one. Now we're gonna roll out the ones from last night that I already made and show you guys. Hopefully they'll agree. There's the other one, the second one, right in the center. Yes, we went over how quick it would be to buy store-bought. Also, I've done it, we all do it, but next time you guys buy a store-bought, look at all the ingredients in there. Here, all you have is sugar, butter, flour, salt, a little bit, and water. And I hate to waste. I'm gonna pick up all those crumbs and get them in there. That's gonna be good stuff. There we go. Roll it into a disc. There it is. Get both corners tight. Of course, this is real home, real kitchen. What's up, Nico? Nico, I'm live. Come home.
Come home?
Yeah. Okay, well that was fun. That was a call from my son. That's what I mean. This is a real kitchen, real home, and real cooking. All right, so these go in the refrigerator. Just like that. I apologize. Okay. These are the ones from last night. Nice and cold. Now, we're gonna actually use the same parchment paper. Didn't hurt anybody, and I hate wasting. Smells so good. Okay, and it's so cold. So what you're gonna do is add flour lightly to your parchment paper or cutting board, and we're gonna roll this out, and this is gonna agree with me. If it knows, oh my heaven, Lord. Okay. Boy, I wrapped this really well last night. Look at the pieces of butter in there. You see all those chunks of butter? It's so cold because it was refrigerated. This is how you want it to be. Hello, everybody. Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving to you all. Happy, healthy Thanksgiving to everyone. Okay, let's hope Nicholas doesn't keep calling. Here we go. A little bit of flour, not too much. This is gonna be cold. I want some on my hand and I want some on my rolling pin. If I can do this, you guys can do this, I promise. This is gonna be time consuming because it's cold and I left it out just when we got started. And it's gonna be a good exercise for me. You guys have to start in the center. Oh, it's so cold. Why is it so darn cold? Look at how hard it is to roll. There we go. Now these two are good for one pie. I'm gonna, for my pecan pie, obviously it doesn't need a top, so I'm gonna use one, and now I have four. I have these two from last night, and I just made two more. Anyone's close enough can come pick up from me. That would be fun. Here we go, we're slowly getting there, people. Don't get intimidated and discouraged. Just keep at it. Now, the other thing with this, to use a parchment paper, it's easy to maneuver the dough. As opposed to a cutting board, you'd have to get under it. This is just easy to maneuver. And you can use a plastic paper over it. That also helps with the peeling. I'll show you guys that when we're done rolling. I got this trick from one of my cookbooks I was reading. Of course, you can roll it on the pin, but no, you want to get, I'll show you guys. And the other thing is, don't get afraid of getting your pie crust rolled out really thin. See? Just keep going at it. And you gotta work with it while it's cold because the butter is gonna hold it together. And I used the wrong rolling pin. I need a bigger one. Here we go. But look, it's coming along. See how big it got? And just kind of twirl it around and roll it out. Just like that. Get it to stay as much as possible in that round disc, because then you can, here we go. See? Wee-hoo! Keep going really thin. You want to go really thin with this. That's the key. Look at this butter. You see all the veins, all the designs the butter's given the dough in the bottom. It's so beautiful. This is how croissants are made, by the way. It's just way more hideous. Tedious, not hideous. Hideous too. tedious and hideous work. I made croissants twice now, boy. And then I'm done. I pull out 24 croissants and people eat them within 10 minutes. And I'm going, wait, I just worked 3 days straight on that and it's done. That's one thing that's definitely time consuming, tedious work, and it goes away so fast, but they come out so yummy. Oh my Lord. This is still thick. You see how thick that is? I still have to go thinner. The other thing with store-bought dough is it kind of looks like rubber. It doesn't look like something you should eat. It looks too perfect, just too perfect. There's no way that's healthy for us. I'm just telling you guys. Here we go, you see the thinness? Run your fingers over it and feel if it's uneven, that means some parts are thicker than the others, and just roll it some more. Hi, Coco. What time is it? I think my dogs are getting hungry. Okay, I'm gonna keep rolling this because the key is to get it nice and thin. Look. And put a little bit more flour in the bottom because I see the butter is now starting to melt. So add a little bit more butter in the bottom. Butter in the bottom. Flour in the bottom. Roll from center out. That's beautiful. I am so excited. I promise you guys, this is gonna be an amazing pie dough. Look at that. Look at that. See how thin that is? Perfect. So now, what you can do is exactly what I want to do was show you guys. I'm going to put a piece of plastic over it, right? And then I'm going to flip this onto this, right? Perfect. And it has plenty to go around. You want to be wide enough so it sits around the edges about that much. It needs to sit in, cover the corners, and come up and fall over, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna roll it off of this. Like that. There it is. There it is, and I'm gonna go right in there. Ooh, and I forgot something I was gonna do before that. Secret. Another secret. I'm actually not gonna use, I'm gonna butter my pan just a little bit, my dish. Okay? Just a little bit. This barely had any butter on it. Believe me, this will help you when you're serving that pie, the first slice, for it to come out. Look at that. You could also use a spray, but I felt like I just sat and knocked all the spraying, all the stuff about not being healthy with store-bought. Put your hand right in the center of your pie crust and put it right in the center of your dish. Voila. Okay? Look at that. Look how thin that is. Perfect. Now you have extra on one side, the two corners, the four corners, not two corners. That's fine. That happened because it kind of became a rectangle. No big deal. So what you're gonna do is cut the extras off. Okay, and you can paste, kind of paste and seal. Here's some extra. I'm gonna have some extra here. You're gonna have hanging over all around, but the extra I'm gonna cut, and I'll show you guys what I'm gonna do with the side that doesn't have enough. you will know that happened when you're serving it. You're gonna take a little bit of water, a little bit of the cold water you had, you're gonna put on your fingertips, you're gonna flip this over, okay? You're gonna brush it on top of your dough, right here in the corner, and then you're gonna get a piece and you're gonna set it right so to hang over, and you're gonna paste this over that. Voila. There it goes. Not one person is gonna know that you had to cut and paste. And if they do, great. That makes it even more homemade. All right, so you lift, you tap in, get it to go sit in the bottom of your dish so you don't have any air pockets, like so. How quick was that? And now you're gonna fold like that, fold the edge, the remaining under, tuck under, that way you can scallop the edges. The problem is we cut too much and then we can't scallop the edges. If you don't want to scallop the edges, don't. But you fold over all this extra that you have, you fold over, twirl it around. You have extra here, no big deal. Fold it over, there it is. Fold, fold, fold. There. Take your time. The first few times is gonna be a little nerve-wracking and then you'll get the hang of it. I'm gonna go slow so you guys all see what's happening. There, it's folded over. Now you're gonna scallop this, okay? Which means just pinch it any way you like. It's gonna cook. I'm just kind of turning and pinching. This part is a little thin. I'm gonna add another piece over it and tuck it. There we go. Just like that. Doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't need to look like it came out of a box. It needs to look homey, rustic. That's what I keep telling you guys. Even restaurants are now going back to making things look farm to table, right? Homemade. We just made it. Just pinch it all around. And when it cooks, it'll be beautiful. There, it's not even perfect because I don't want to tear it. It's so delicate and thin. There it is. I'm going to cook this tomorrow. Now, I do suggest that if you guys are making pie, you do this process the day before because you want this to set and settle in your dish. It's still going to move. The flour, the water, the butter, there's still gonna be movement because we rolled it out. So you wanna put it in your pan, your pie dish, and you're gonna cover it. And I have plenty of this saran paper, press and seal, that doesn't wanna seal or press for me. I'm gonna cover this up and put it in the refrigerator. And then tomorrow, I'm just gonna pile in my filling and put it in the oven. So simple, okay? How easy was that? That's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and slash video recipe of flaky pie crust. Remember to roll it thin, really thin. That's the key. Go slow, don't get nervous. Try and use your fingers the least amount possible. If you are new to my channel, hit subscribe, and every time I come on again, you'll get a notification. We kind of fell behind due to the fires, but glad. We have so much to be thankful for. So we're back and glad to be back. Oh my goodness. That's my son. Nicholas. Real life, real kitchen. What can I tell you? Guys. Nicholas. Yeah. Quiet the dogs. I'm live, babe. Okay, so hit subscribe and you'll get a notification, and give me thumbs up, or whatever, you don't like it, thumbs down, and go ahead and feel free to email me if you have any questions. Thank you to YouTube followers and viewers, and I'm gonna end YouTube.